Welcome everyone to a new vlog. Don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time visiting, or even if it's not your first time but you have not yet subscribed, go ahead, subscribe right now. Don't forget to share, leave a comment, and a like. Let's talk today about Venezuela and the fuel that came for second time from Iran. Admiral of the US Navy, Greg S. Fowler, commander of the Southern Command, has tried to oust Maduro from Miraflores Palace for many years now. He has not been able to achieve his goal. Admiral of the Navy in Miami, from where he lives and dreams how to achieve his goal. When he was asked by his superiors in the Pentagon why he has not been able to do his job, he replied that Maduro is insured in Venezuela by Russia and China's investments. Also, he blamed advice that comes from Cuba and the help that he's getting from Iran. At no time he talked about the respect he has, the respect he has from the military forces of Venezuela. Nor he talked about the incredible support that President receives from the voters who voted him in to presidency 2018. Retractors of Maduro government hate to hear how 7 million people voted for him. They call those votes ghost votes, saying that it's a fraud, trying to confuse the mind of foreigners in the exterior, or the minds in the exterior. I will not deny the truth to anyone. And I'm not saying that Maduro is an angel or anything of that source, but I'm saying he's not a dictator because 7 million people voted for him. Hmm? And that's a lot of people because at that time there was a lot of troubles on the streets, so not everyone wanted to go outside and vote because they might get hurt. On the 2nd of October, moving on the 2nd of October, the arrival of petroleum vessels from Iran in Venezuela came, five of them, and an amount of 1.5 million barrels of raw petrol of gasoline came into Venezuela and took with them back 1.5 barrels of raw petroleum. This petroleum will return to Venezuela, and part of this oil or gasoline will be delivered to Venezuela's allies and friends in the Caribbean area. I have already told you, these so-called sanctions lack legality. Only when lucky governments decide to support these inhumane ideas, they become possible. See, Trump sent vessels and all sorts of warships, but they know they could not stop this shipment coming in. So that's how it happened. Iran and Venezuela will continue with their trade agreements. Iran will be in charge of distributing distributing and refining Venezuelan crude to different countries, and in return, Venezuela will receive indispensable products like medicine, food, and whatever else different organizations in the country need to reinforce society and the progress. Here is something that indeed you might not know. The beginning of the month of October, two refineries open, and those refineries will help um, with the lack of fuel in that country. One of them will leave about 5,000 barrels per day of gasoline in the country. The other one, 35. So that doesn't
Every
that
day, a
doesn't
fire is burning in the heart of
fix the
Caracas.
problem, but at the same time,
Since
it's
2008,
better than
families in
before.
Caracas have been learning the value of
Iran
agriculture
still
and fishing
will
to improve
transport
their
fuel to
livelihood.
Venezuela.
There are
So, right? Many politicals and military experts believe that the US
prices.
is not going to invade Venezuela. First, Venezuela has a national military that supports the government 100%. Also, essential nations and allies. The allies would help Venezuela if a full invasion from the capitalist nation happens. It would be significantly affected the US and lose world influence. Countries like Iran, China, Russia would not miss the opportunity to justify building bases in Venezuela as allowed by the Constitution. Foreign bases will mean five to six generation technology arriving in Venezuela. Massive and powerful weapons only, the US, California, Los Angeles, it's only 3 to 5 kilometers, nautical kilometers away from Venezuela. So that's not far. 3 to 5 thousand, that's not far. Missiles now can go further. It will be a nightmare for the US. Venezuela would become the real threat with all the weapons these nations would provide them. I have said it before in previous videos, the United States wants to suffocate Venezuela using fourth generation weapons. That means psychological war and mediatic war. They don't want to actually go into real war. Mm. So, my friends, what I'm saying here is that maybe Venezuela, Venezuela will come on top because all these sanctions have made Venezuela think how they can produce everything themselves without having to do business with other nations around the world. This last, 2013 to now, like 7, 10 years, this past decade, let's say, um, these years of sanctions have made Venezuela a country that will emerge stronger than any other Latin American country. These sanctions have made the different organizations and programs in Venezuelan's economy strengthen. Some sectors that did not exist now have been established and have everything to make Venezuela an independent nation. I know many people believe Venezuela is in a downfall, the economy, the hyperinflation, but that's only because of the sanctions. Once these sanctions are over, Venezuela will quickly recover, while other Latin American countries' economies have their navel glued to different nations that will never allow them to to progress as much as they want. Every time they want to be independent, they get a pull, the notch. It's like, where are you going? Hmm? I am talking about agriculture, financial economics, politics, social independence, health, technology, the military. Some nations can have weapons if the stronger nation, the stronger economic nation won't allow them, or they're not allowed to create certain programs to help um, their people, the citizens of that nation. They have to ask permission first before they begin a program, and that is what I'm saying. Venezuela has created those programs. And once all these sanctions are over, or at least some of them begin to be taken off, Venezuela will grow. And it's awesome. I think this is awesome for Latin America. I mean, in my own point of view, my thought of wave, I'm thinking it is fantastic. A Latin country can be so close to achieving absolute independence, something that no nation has, not any Latin American nation has. It is the greatest fear of capitalism to know that a nation can grow, can progress without the capitalist ideology. And I think that's why they're trying to keep Venezuela down, keep the food on the throat, so that they can't breathe. Right? I will let the rest of the. It would this would let the rest of the world realize that nations can succeed without bowing to foreign governments. And the best part is that Venezuela is not hurting anyone. It's not it's not putting any other country down or taking advantage of any other nation. They're doing it with their own resources, and the IMF and World Bank would have to change the policies under which they borrow money to nations around the world. Well, my friends, this is everything I have for today, and I do hope that you guys have a great weekend. I also hope that you watch this video, that you share it with other people. Just share it with people. Just go ahead, share it with anyone you want. Hmm? Okay, well, I'm gonna leave you with my final thought, and that is to help someone whenever you see someone. I mean, I know you can't help everyone, but help that someone. Choose one person to help, because you know what? That person, you might be the only person that helps that person, and you can make their day. Okay? So have a great weekend. Don't forget, leave your like, leave a comment. Till next video. And have a great weekend. And don't forget to help someone, because you might be the only one who does. Till next video.